Is this Chris?
Yes, it is. Is this Matt?
It sure is, man. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm all right.
What's with the oh my God?
Well, it's been an ordeal trying to figure out how to use the satellite phone from the great metropolis of Quincy, Washington.
Are you really? Oh, yeah. You're at the Gorge.
Yeah, we're out at the Gorge.
Nice. Is it a nice day at least? Because that's like my favorite place in the entire world.
It is not a nice day.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, it's raining like crazy, and everybody on the main stage is sort of scrambling around with big plastic bags trying to keep the Cure's guitars dry.
Oh, yeah, the Cure's on tonight.
That's right. That's true.
Are you excited?
I am really excited.
Have you seen them before?
Let's see. The second half of the day goes something like Tegan and Sarah, Spearhead, Presidents of the United States of America, then us, then The Cure.
Wow. So you're opening for The Cure.
I guess that ostensibly we're opening for The Cure.
That's amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
That's and Tegan and Sarah, that's so nice.
That's not bad.
And they're from Calgary.
They are from Calgary. They're so from Calgary.
Have you seen them in the last while, or are you just going to be chilling with them later on today?
We played a show with them in Las Vegas about a month ago, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we're playing it with them again tomorrow in some town outside of Salt Lake City.
Oh, you're really going everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
So how long have you been on the road now? Like what, a month? Not even?
Well, not technically really at all yet. I mean, yesterday was technically the first show of the tour.
Really?
We did like 6 shows down the West Coast to Coachella, and then we did it's basically just been weird promo stuff, like lots of like acoustic radio things and stuff. And when we got on stage and played a rock show last night, like, usually it's like the radio things kind of feel like the thing that you're not used to doing. Mm-hmm. And then we got on stage last night and it was like, oh, it's so loud and so fast, and we kind of had a weird show. So
let me ask you this: what song off the new record sounds the best acoustic?
Acoustically, what has been really working? Talking Bird sounds really good.
Yeah, I can see that slowed down. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, Talking Bird works out really well. I Will Possess Your Heart actually doesn't work out too badly.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have an acoustic bass? Is that what's going on too, or what?
No, Nick's been playing his regular bass, and it works out. I mean, it works out pretty cool. Like the thing about that song is that it's so I don't know. I mean, it just feels a lot like it felt when we recorded it. It's just sort of a different instruments, but it actually doesn't feel all that weird.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that song in a little bit, but we'll hold off. Because I want to start with a song that mentions Calgary in it, Follow You Into the Dark. It mentions Calgary. You stripped it down Blackbird styles, and I'm wondering I know the producer, and you must have been at some point, maybe we should throw strings here or do this here, or was it always, let's just keep it bare bones? No, yeah, there was talk at one point before we tracked it to put some more stuff into that song, but the way that it got tracked was, it's one microphone, that's it, there's no mix, there's no multi-track element to it, it's just like it's Ben performing to one microphone in a room, and it was a total fluke, actually, that we got that performance. It was, Ben was, I was having some sort of technical problem with, like, something with his headphones, and I was, like, waiting to, I was trying to figure that out, and he was sort of in a holding pattern, and he picked up a guitar and was just playing around in the room, and he started playing that song, and it was still coming through the monitors, and I just poked my head out and said, hey, let's just track that real quick. This sounded really cool. And that's the song that's on the record. That's amazing. And that's it. It's like, you can't argue with performances. And that's to me, more and more and more, like, that's the key thing with making records. It's like, it would be such a drag to have lost that performance because the guitar-vocal relationship wasn't, like, totally perfect, man. That's not what it's about. Like, that's the way, Ben, he had never performed that like that before, and he certainly hasn't performed it like that since. It's, like, really a moment, so I'm just happy we got it. It's funny you mentioned that. I remember talking to Randy Bachman a while ago, and he was saying some of the records he made back in the 70s, like with the Guess Who and BTO, they would just have one mic in the room, and they would just, that was the performance. Doesn't matter if you screw up the guitar here or there. If they felt that was the take that worked, that was the one that was going on the record.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally true. And it's really funny when you're doing that, when you've got the whole band in the room together. how it changes your perspective on perfection. Like, you know, if you're doing a single overdub or something, like, the microscope is on whatever you're doing, and it's like, oh, I kind of fretted that note weird, or, oh, I sang that a little flat, or that's a little late, you know, that sort of thing. But when everybody's stuff is going down together, it's not like that. Like, you end up just feeling everything together as it goes down, and it gets to this point of, like, you know, like, people start nitpicking and wanting to, like, fix stuff, but, like, are you really, like, fixing it? If you dig into something, like, you never know what the cornerstone of the whole track is.
Exactly.
And, like, by fixing that thing that seems like a mistake, in quotes, like, maybe the whole track falls apart. And, like, when we're working on tape, which is what we did for this record and what we've done for most of our records, like, you don't have any second chance. Like, you don't get to, you know, there's no safety net. So, like, you punch it in, and, like, if it's not as cool anymore, then it's gone. That's
take two.
Yeah.
I know your solo record, all overdubs, new Death Cab record, a lot of it live off the floor.
Yep.
Was it more challenging for you to, I guess, you know, Ben throws his heart on the sleeves with lyrics in the songs, but now it's you in the driver's seat. Your lyrics, you're talking about pro-life, you're talking about FEMA, and I mean, even just the basic, you know, rock and roll love songs kind of thing, but it's your voice.
Right. You mean with my record? It's not really... It's actually really easy for me. I mean, it's not easy to get all of the words and, like, it's not easy to glue everything together in a way that feels good to sing. That's the trickiest part. But in terms of, like, subject matter and what I'm singing about and, like, sort of the basic presentation of each of the songs, it's actually pretty easy. I mean, it's all the stuff that I talk about every day anyway. Like, every conversation that I have is political to some degree, and it's not, I don't even think about it. Like, I wouldn't even know how to not write like that in a way. So yeah, I don't know. It was a nice thing to do, and I will definitely be doing more of it.
Nice, good. Well, I'm excited to hear it.
Nice.
And you ever going to come out on tour? You think? I know it's a Death Cab tour, and you want to play the Death Cab songs, but you think you'll ever be like, hey guys, what about this one?
Nah, no. It's just not. It's not like a no, my band won't do it, man, kind of thing. It's just we're just not set up like that. Like, I mean, this band was found, like, Ben, when I met Ben, he was in a 2-singer-songwriter band. Like, he was half of the songwriting team for a band called Pinwheel, and he wanted to get out of that. Like, that was something that was just really, you know, that it wasn't a great match, the fellow that he was in that band with, and he really wanted to just write his own songs and do his own thing. And, like, that's one of the cornerstones on which the band was founded. And another one is that, like, I record everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're so stuck in our roles that we're not open to doing more, you know, like screwing around with the formula, but it's just not important to me. And I suspect that it's not important to the people who are coming to our shows either. Like, I would hate to get into the situation of, like, we're playing some of my songs and there's that feel, like, you know, there was always some band that you loved when you were a kid and you'd go to the shows and it's like, oh, this is great. And then you get to, like, the 8th song in the set and it's like the other guitar player's song. He's got, like, one song a record and it's totally not the thing that you signed on for.
But your record's good.
Well, thanks. I mean, I feel like it's good, too, but I also feel like it's not, like, if I was going to a Death Cab For Cutie show, I'd be bummed if they decided to play one of my songs.
True,
like,
and it might take the place of, like, a photo album, too, or something.
Yeah, totally. It's like,
okay.
it's just not part of the equation, and it does not bother me or bum me out in any way. Like, it's completely democratic and completely cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. I know you're busy and you're going to probably be on the road with Death Cab for a year and a half or so. Would you tour solo?
I really want to at some point, but
okay.
It's just not in the cards. I mean, the rule number one of economics is that if you spend your money on one thing, then you haven't spent your money on the other thing, and that sort of opportunity cost goes for touring and making records, too. Like, if I go on a tour for a month, that means that that's a month that I'm not out with Death Cab and that I'm not working on somebody else's record, which is something I also love to do, and I get lots and lots of offers for that I have to leave on the table.
And I want to play some of those. I want to play a Decemberist tune a little later and not a surf tune, but we'll get to those. We're talking about your solo record. I want to play something off of it. I'll let you choose. I hear there's 2 Plans outtakes on there. Is that true?
Sort of. I mean, the batch of songs that Brothers on a Hotel Bed came out of.
Oh, okay.
I gave Ben 3 or maybe it was 4. I think it was 4 like instrumental tracks for him to write around, and the only one that he really gravitated toward was the song that became Brothers on a Hotel Bed. But the song that I turned into 250, the first song on the record, was recorded pretty much in the same 2 or 3 days. So it came from the same place.
Well, let's play that for people.
All right, sounds great.
How come such close release dates? It feels like the 60s. You know, we get the Walla record, and then we get Death Cab 4 months later.
Man, it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Was it our government's fault?
No. Your government is not responsible for any of the sort of border trauma that I experienced. It was all on the U.S. Homeland Security side.
I love how it gets That's insane.
It was weird. I learned so much about that whole process, though. It was really incredible. I got quite a civics lesson from a fellow named Mike Millen, who's the Seattle, they call him the local. He's for the Blaine crossing.
Oh, yeah.
The Peace Arch crossing. And he totally walked through exactly what happened and why it happened, and it was amazing. It was really cool.
More faith or less faith in your government now?
I think I broke even on the whole thing.
Okay.
What happened was that I have a lot more respect for the people on the ground. Mm-hmm. Like at the crossings, that border security job is, in so many ways, it's kind of, it's a difficult job, and it's not impossible, but it's certainly not that easy. And the thing about it that is the thing about it that's the weirdest is that it's kind of a Trojan horse in the internet file transfer days. Like, it used to be that confiscating a hard drive was like, yes, we got him, like whatever it is that's coming over the border, whether it's like, some terrorist plot or like child pornography or some other thing that they're after, which is exactly what they're after when they're like confiscating things. But it's that's not how records don't even really get transported that way all that often anymore. It's like I spend more time FTPing multi-tracks up to people who are mixing things than I do like sending drives to people. So so it's kind of strange, and it's kind of weird that record got nabbed at the border. But
you gave it a little more publicity, though.
It did, certainly. It was. It didn't happen exactly the way that I would have wanted it to, I don't think. But well, whatever.
Take things as they come.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Death Cab record, because it's awesome.
Well, thank you.
And yeah, it really is. And I liked it the first time I heard it, but now listening to it in preparation for this, it's grown on me quite a bit. Oh,
thank you. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit of a sleeper. I'm starting to think that we don't know how to make a record that's not a sleeper. But yeah, thank you very much.
Some songs hit you right away, and I know everyone I've played it for, Grapevine Fires, everyone's just been like, yes, that's the one.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
And I told you that last week, too, and you were like, thanks. So that was kind of cool. And you said, I was listening to an interview, Ben doesn't turn in many autobiographical songs, but this one was.
Yeah, this one's actually a true story. It's, and I think it's actually a pretty literal true story. I don't think even the names were, unmentioned to protect the innocent, I suppose, but it's absolutely a true story. So, it's just it's just a day in and around LA with one of our best friends, and her daughter and a couple of other people, and they ended up on a hillside sort of watching the whole grapevine to the north sort of burn to the ground and creep toward the city. And it just happened that the place that they stopped was a cemetery to have their picnic, which is kind of weird, I think. But it's absolutely it's a true story. So. And
a great song.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like that one a bunch.
You think it would be a single, or is that even up to you guys?
It is. It's funny. It's less up to us than it used to be. The big record company. The big record company's secret these days that they don't want you to know is that when the record comes out, they go to iTunes and they look at which songs are selling the best, and that sort of determines what the next single is going to be.
Yeah, that makes sense, though.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's like, wow, what are people gravitating towards?
I like that.
The one that I really hope is a single at some point that I don't know if, I mean, I've heard from, it's weird, like I hear from sort of equal parts people that it's Grapevine Fires that is their favorite song and that it's Long Division is their favorite song.
Oh, that's cool too.
But Long Division is so buried in the record and people have such short attention spans that I don't know if it'll actually get there.
Yeah,
so.
What is it, like 9 or 10 on the record?
Yeah, it's in there. It's I think it's number 9. Yeah, it's a little buried in there, but you know, whatever.
That's
These things happen.
Move on to Possess Your Heart.
Yes.
Recorded live off the floor, that 4-minute jam intro.
Yes, that's true.
Did you feel it might be too long? Was there ever a chance where you were like, maybe we should trim it?
Well, we did trim it.
Really?
I cut about, I guess it's like 26 seconds out of it. Okay. It was just the amount where it was like it was the phrase where it was just feeling too long. And it was really easy to get in with it there with the razor blade and just hack it out.
Oh, yeah, you are going on tape, so it would be a blade, wouldn't it?
It was an actual physical razor blade.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of that on this record. Like, Pity and Fear is 7 cuts. Long Division's like 5 cuts. Like,
wow.
I mean, you know, there are not a lot of things in this world that I feel like I'm actually really excellent at. Like, one of them is Scrabble. 2 is that I can actually make a really good espresso drink. Years of working at Starbucks.
Mid-fi indie records.
Yeah, exactly. And then 3 mid-fi indie records, exactly. But I can cut tape. Like, I learned how to do that. I'm really good at it. It doesn't freak me out. It freaks bands out like crazy, especially in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just the band starts sweating and, like, they turn red and they, like, stop. They can't talk anymore. And it's like, look, it's really not that big a deal. Like, you just cut it and you glue it back together. It's fine.
You mentioned Pity and Fear, and I heard that tabla kind of drum machine was originally supposed to be on that track.
It was supposed to. The demos for Pity and Fear and I Will Possess Your Heart both came in with that drum machine, and with I Will Possess Your Heart, it just didn't feel like much of anything. It felt like an easy way to present a demo. And with Pity and Fear, it really felt like it was part of the song. So we ran with it for Pity and Fear, and then sort of threw it out for I Will Possess Your Heart. Yeah.
I like it. Let's play it for people. The edit or not the edit? What do you want to hear?
I would say not the edit if that's not too crazy for radio.
It's not too crazy for radio.
Awesome, let's do it.
Did you have to mix the edit too? Did they get you to do that, or did they get someone else to do it?
I did that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The edit was a real bugger to put together because I couldn't. I mean, there's no play because it's a totally linear performance, and because Jason doesn't have a part, and I mean he's got a framework, and like I definitely didn't have a part at that point. You can't just like cut it. So that was I had to cross-thread a bunch of stuff together with the multi-track master and kind of retool the whole thing. So that was a project.
You should have just been like, screw it, you're playing the 8-minute song.
Right, totally.
Yeah,
well, and the other thought was, God, maybe we should just cut it and go, there's your radio edit. Like, I guess, I don't know. I don't know. There were some conversations about it, but I actually really sort of enjoy the radio edit. I think it turned out all right.
Yeah, they're both cool.
Meh.
Were you in front of the board the whole time playing guitar? I heard that you were like in the control room basically the entire time, playing guitar and mixing at the same time.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the guy who does our front of house when we're on tour, Will Markwell, he recorded about half of this record. Like, he was always in the studio with us. We didn't do anything where he wasn't around.
Okay.
And he was running the tape machine and, doing stuff on the fly, just so I could actually perform and, like, not have to worry so much about headphone mixes and all that kind of thing. So there was, he was really, really involved. He was definitely, like, a part of the creative process all the way through. And that's the first time that ever happened, too, that I've really had somebody that I can lean on for that kind of thing for a whole set. That's
kind of nice.
So, yeah, it was really good.
Would you ever have someone else, would you want someone else to produce the record? A Death Cab record, at least?
At some point, it's going to happen, and I'm really looking forward to it at some point, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know when it is.
Yeah, I guess down the road at some point.
We'll see. It'll happen at some point. Yeah. The fellow I co-produced the Crane Wife with, this fellow named Tucker Martine, is a good friend of mine, and he's really the only other producer I've ever worked with. Like that record's the only, The Crane Life is the only co-production I've ever really worked on, and it was really fun, like just to be able to throw stuff at him, and I feel like we played to one another's strengths really, really well too. It was a totally fun thing to do. So
let's play something off that record.
Yeah,
because I love it. I love both records actually, both December's records. Well, all of them, but the two you've worked on. Well, and the Tane as well.
The Tane.
20 minutes. Funk made me play all of it on a radio once. 20 minutes.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Let me choose two. That way we can talk about war and Obama and all this. And
okay, great.
And your mail-in primaries as well. So what do you think? Yankee Bayonet or 16 Military Wives?
I would say Yankee Bayonet.
So you had a mail-in primary?
Yes, that's true.
That sounds ridiculous, but did it work?
Well, I think it worked. And I don't feel like it's, I mean, for me it's not ridiculous because I've been voting absentee for years and years anyway. And there's the thing about a mail-in primary, because there's so much talk about, like, there's so much talk about, like, positive voter ID and disenfranchisement and all that sort of thing. Like, the mail-in ballot actually seems like a reasonable way to get around some of that because you have to match signatures. And it's like you have to be registered to vote, and they have to have a signature on file. But like that's a proof positive way to match signatures, and that seems reasonable to me. I don't know. It's it's our voting system is such a disastrous wreck just in general that I don't even know where to start.
Well, the Electoral College is kind of...
the Electoral College is the least of our problems. Like, if you're a member of the Democratic Party, you're lost. Like, just learning, we haven't had to think about superdelegates since 1980, I don't think.
Something like that.
Yeah, and it's like just getting into all the, this entire primary process with Senator Clinton and Senator Obama has been just this arcane, ridiculous, it's been a huge civics lesson. It's been like all these people getting into like Democratic Party bylaws and ways and means committees that nobody ever even knew actually existed.
True.
And I keep hearing these interviews with people who are like members of their, local Democratic Party or, state Democratic Party or, whatever, who have always been sort of involved in politics and like part of the process, but they have no idea what's going on. And it's so crazy to be hearing interviews with, superdelegates who are just local party leaders who are like, oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that this is what I was signing on for. Wow, that's really crazy.
It's funny to hear Howard Dean talk about it, too, because he's trying to sound like he knows, but I don't think he even knows what to do.
He's probably got a better clue than most, but it's there's just been so much research that everybody's had to do. It's like, it seems so insane that like we have to research our own process to like figure out how it works when it actually gets democratic. Like, that's the thing about this primary process. It's been so, it's really, it's kind of strange because it's been an actually democratic process, and it's driving people crazy.
Because it's taken too long. They should have just moved all these primaries back.
It's been so funny. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm such a political junkie, and like I've been following just a little bit. Like before we went to the UK, it was like right before Labour lost their shirts in the UK election, and then I have a bunch of Australian friends, and John Howard finally got voted out.
Yeah, my roommate's Australian. He's ecstatic.
Yeah, exactly. And but the Australian elections, like Howard was in power for 11 years, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And they called an election, and 3 weeks later he was gone. Like, that's it. It's just incredible how fast it moves. And it doesn't have to be like this. Like, this campaign's been happening since the last campaign.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, feels like it.
It feels like we just went out on the Vote for Change tour.
Like, you going to be doing that again? Something like that?
I think we will end up doing something like that again, yes. I don't know exactly what yet, but everybody's sort of waiting for the thing to get settled so they can figure out how mobilized everybody feels like they want to be. And who we're mobilizing around.
Yeah,
it seems like it's Senator Obama, but it's so hard to tell.
She's not giving up.
She will not give up.
No.
That is true. If there's one thing that we've learned about Senator Hillary Clinton, it's that she is not a quitter.
No.
Yeah. Somebody might pull the plug on her campaign at some point, and she'll just run out of oxygen, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Until then.
Let's get back into music.
Yes.
You think Katrina outcome would have been different had a Democrat been in power?
Hurricane Katrina?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, wow, I'm sorry to hedge on this question, but I just realized how loud it is out there. I'm at a festival, right?
Yeah.
And there's a band called 65 Days of Static that is on stage right now, and they're playing like about 35 feet above my head right now, and it's just this sort of like, I can't tell what's going on at all, but they're this blazing instrumental like hardcore band.
Crazy.
And they just stopped the song, and I just now realize like how sort of worked up it was making me about everything. So I'm calming down now. Now we can talk about Katrina.
It all came together in the political conversation.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, Katrina is one of those. It's one of those moments that I think any administration or any government could be blindsided by, and it's so hard to tell what happened and why it happened. I mean, there were failures at every level of government, from the city all the way up to the federal government with that disaster. I mean, Ray Nagin, the mayor of New Orleans, was pointing his fingers at the state, and the state was pointing their fingers at FEMA, and FEMA was like, well, we didn't get any directive from the White House, and meanwhile, like, people are drowning and everything's underwater, and like the thing that's I don't know. I mean, the thing that I'm really disheartened by the most about that process is how crippling and how hamstrung we were by the red tape of our process. And that's the thing that I hope that our next administration can try and do away with some of. Like that there's a real, just trying to implement some sort of a real, like, safety switch. Like when something actually terrible happens to our people, like New Orleans is part of my country, and there's still thousands upon thousands of people without homes in the richest country in the world.
Yeah, makes
and that's
sense.
Wrong. That's not all right. That's not what I signed on for. That's not what I pay taxes for. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really, really frustrating to me. So I don't know. It's so infuriating that it's difficult to talk about it with any level of sort of articulateness. I don't even know what the word is. But
well, it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. So, and that's like, what, 2-3 years ago? Well, it was the same week your record came out, the last record, Plans.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been 2.5 years now, almost 3 years.
That's insane. And you wrote a song about it, a lovely song about it.
Well, thank you.
You see how I was getting into it there. Everyone needs a home. It's a great song, and I love the line, "A FEMA trailer does not ease the blow."
It does. I just don't think it does. I mean, I haven't actually seen one firsthand, but I've seen some pictures. And FEMA wants them back now.
See, that's
like, you still don't have a home, and
what do they need them for?
Like, there's this nice motel that's 400 miles from where you used to live that you can move into now that we want the FEMA trailer back.
And they want them back for what?
I don't know. Some other disaster?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't understand.
I ask everybody 5 questions, 1-word answers.
Yes, please.
iPod or CDs?
iPod.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Alcohol or marijuana?
Neither.
Song you've written you're most proud of? Or I guess produced maybe, or worked on?
No, I'll go overall. Written. I'll say Sing Again.
Oh, is that why it was a single?
No, it wasn't even supposed to be the single. It just sort of happened that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
1 word, Death Cab For Cutie.
Smoking.
I've never heard that before. That's good. I like that. Let's play another track off the new record.
Okay.
Twin Size Bed or Kath?
Kath.
How come?
I like Kath.
It's a good song.
It's not that I don't like Twin Size Bed, but I'm loving Kath right now.
It sounds like it could have fit on one of your first records. I
feel that as well, and yeah. I think that maybe that's why I am so drawn to it. I don't know. I mean, it's just a little rock song. Like, I don't know. And I love the lyric, and I love the way the bridge breaks down. I love sort of the lyrical home run of the bridge, the "You Said Your Vows" bit. Mm-hmm. I think that Ben really hit one with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
You talked in the DVD about Hall of Justice and how people turn it over and sell it back and forth. Have you sold it yet?
Well, it's not. the building has never been owned by whoever has occupied it. Mm-hmm. It's a funny little building. It was built 100 years ago, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was built in 1909, and it was like the convenience store between the town of Ballard and the town of Fremont, two districts of Seattle, before they were annexed into the city. And it's been abandoned at different points, but it's been a studio continuously since 1978, and it's just been passed on over and over and over from rock band to rock band, or from producer to producer, and it's just, we've been practicing in there, and it's sort of a storage depot for all of our empty road cases most of the time. But yeah, it's a good place. It's a place that I miss when I'm not able to be in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's still yours?
It's still ours, yeah. And the band has talked at different points about moving out, because it's actually kind of small at this point for what we need. Mm-hmm. But if the band does decide to move out, I think I may take the lease back over from the band and maybe make it a little bit more of a recording studio again.
That'd be cool. Rent it out to whoever wants it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Play one of the singles from the last record. You know how it is.
Yes, of course.
Soul Meets Body or Crooked Teeth?
I would say Soul Meets Body.
How come?
I don't even know. That's one of the songs from the last record that I have not yet tired of performing on stage. Every now and again you get to a song and people still want to hear it, and you're like, well, it's been 3 years and I'm kind of over it, because I played it. I know you weren't there for all 400 times I played it last year, but I've kind of played it a lot, and I'm kind of over it, But Soul Meets Body doesn't have that effect on me at all. I can hear it over and over and over again, and it hasn't gotten old for me.
Mm-hmm. And I love the kick drum melody at the beginning. It's such a cool way to do it. It's like you almost tune the kick drum differently to make it work.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good to hear. I've never heard that before.